Welcome to the Ports Garrison. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you. Greetings and welcome back to the Ports Garrison. Today, we present part 2 of the presentation by Senator Damian Crawford in the Jamaican Senate on the state of education.
Senator Crawford.
Yeah, Mr. President. So as to not be accused, because the numbers for 22 weren't sent. I found a report that said in Gleaner, performance declined in CSEC math and English language in 2022. 2022 was worse than 17%. So, make a look some more. In the last 5 years, based on the information provided, 185,896 young Jamaicans enrolled in secondary schools. Only 43,000 got a minimum of 5 subjects. Out of 185,896. So when they start to say, how come the music start to say fully done? The majority of the market, based on their lack of academic success, perceive themselves and has been accused by the society of being fully done. Not the music, the market. The real culprit is the system created within the society that calls for a child that could learn at 9 months to be done at 19. Not valiant. Again, Senator Fraser Mills, because it's getting worse. It's getting worse. I show here, the orange line is those who did it. The blue line. So the yes line is blue. And the no line is it's supposed to be a next color. But can you imagine that? They did not get those subjects. Continue, Senator Fraser. The police recruit persons with 5 subjects, as you would know, Senator Bunty. And they expect that you're under the age of 30 and over the age of 18, 18 to 30. So for the 12-year period that exists, for the 12-year period that exists, Mr. President, the recruitment pool for the police force is 105,000 possible persons. Most of those would have been wanting to be doctor and lawyer and Indian and chief. So within the pool of 5 subjects, the police force is not the most attractive. If we should set those who don't qualify, then the recruitment pool for the gangs is 446,150 between the ages of 18 to 30. 4 times. It is almost a miracle that we're not worse than we are. 4 times the size. Put that in the context that there's almost no place for the uneducated in the economic activity of a country. Because those who used to wash clothes have been replaced by a washing machine. Those who used to chop bush replaced by a weed whacker. Those who used to mix cement have been replaced by premix chalk. I remember as a boy, 50, 60 people said they're going to do a roof. They're going to deck a roof. The whole community came out. Now it's 2 men with a premix chalk. So there's no muscle work anymore. And in our society, the minimum acceptable to join the police force is 4 times less than those who could not, if they so desired, based on the requirements of the police force. If that is not code red, I don't know what exactly is. Mr. President, I did some further analysis. What could cause this? Senator Golding, we have to now start to ask ourselves, because when 80% or 83% is not achieving a standard, it is no longer possible to be the individual's fault. It must be systematic outcomes that cause 80 achieve the minimum standards. So I started to do my research. I started to dig deep. And you know, Jamaica loves to say that 100% enrollment and 96% enrollment. The World Bank said don't use enrollment because enrollment don't reflect attendance. A lot of the kids you see out at the stoplight are enrolled, meaning registered to a school, but they do not attend. Let us look at that reality. They say at pre-primary education, which is basic school, approximately 86% is attending. Now, recently we heard a big hullabaloo that only 50% of 0 to 6 are in schools. But the real truth is 0 to 3 is seldom in a school. It is the Senator Ruel Reid, former senator, that came with this brain builder thing. I'll touch that soon. So when the World Bank is looking at the basic school, which is age 3 to 6, they say about 86% of our children are attending. Now, don't underestimate the negativity that we're still seeing from basic schooling. Because if you have 40,000 people and you have about 15% of 40,000, then you look on 6,000 not attending. 6,000 not attending. Now, the police commissioner said 300 violence producers. So if you have 6,000 not attending, my God, if you get 10% out of that, you're going 600 violence producers. Don't underestimate, but it is okay, we can work with it. Primary education, 92 to 91% attending. But then look what happens at lower secondary school. 75% attending. By the way, the light blue line is 2010. The dark blue line is 2018. In 2010, we were at 75% attending. In 2018, we are 72. Not right direction. Not right direction. Upper secondary school, which is grades 10 and 11, 58% attending. Then no wonder 1/3 never sit. How should they sit if they don't go? So therefore, we're losing about 20% after grade 9. If this is not an emergency, if this is not an emergency, and there is no anxiety being created within the ministry, let me go further. So we look, why? My God, it now show good. No, because I prepared this, yeah man, I'm going on my screen. I prepared this in particular for Senator Golden, you know, because I know Senator Golden wants to say, yeah man, the numbers. Senator Golden, reasons given, this is a World Bank study. I want to read the lower part for you so people don't think it's my graph. Not attending school, drop out before grade 11, 17 to 21-year-old. World Bank based on Jamaica survey of living conditions. So this is not my numbers. What are the reasons given for not attending school? 57% of all age school students, all age, said that they reached the terminal grade, so them stop. 57%. 34% of primary junior high. You know them have this one where it's not really all age, I think it got 10th grade. Say that is because they reached the terminal grade. Why then do we still have 97 all age schools? And I must say 83 junior high schools. Isn't that a lack of interest in correcting a problem that states that in some rural communities there is nowhere else to go? Senator Campbell, Shouldn't we be making some boarding schools, therefore, if they have nowhere else to go? So that they can go board and go to school because there is no connectivity between where they went until they're at 14 and stop. Yeah. The research is there. Absolutely. But when you look at secondary, high school, none. 0% said they reached terminal grade. That's why they're not there. They continued out of habit. What they see around there. But when you have a culture where a man say you done school, so go working at the farm. You done school. You done school at 9th grade. And from 2010 there was a commitment to remove all 8 schools. We're now at 2022. It would be better, Senator Golding, if we made it into a shift school and primary go morning and then the other one go night. Shift is not good. But my God, you cannot make them leave at 9th grade. Because they have nothing else to do and nowhere else to go. But we couldn't get worse. No, when it kept getting worse, I get getting more and more depressed. This one is showing? Jesus. I could go further. They look at a difference between why boys weren't going to school and why girls weren't going to school. Senator Golding, I don't want you to miss this one. They divided boys from girls. The World Bank, UNICEF study. It says World Bank based on Jamaica survey of living conditions. Senator Gale, 49% of girls not in school is because they're pregnant. 49% of our girls of school age not in school is because they are pregnant. We not even look at the 41% of boys that said they're simply not interested in them. Listen to what I'm saying. 10 and 11th grade. So when I hear we saying we want a 7-year experience, at the 3rd year, 41% of the boys say, "Me done with this." And you say, at 2 years. Listen, man. 20% of boys say money was the problem. And the 17% say, boy, I reach terminal age. Another problem we have, 12% of boys and 6% of girls were expelled. If rehabilitation isn't a part of youth punishment, then who will be rehabilitated? You expel people because they can't survive with others in space A. But you must then have the other reform schools. So we recommended that one reform school per region, we have 7 education regions, should be established because the person who is a deviant should not be left on his own volition from the age of 9. Oh my God. 10% of boys not at the primary school were also expelled. At primary school? Primary school. But I'm going to look deeper into the whole concept of our girls being pregnant. Senator Golding, I want you to read this. A whopping total of 59,591 births to adolescents were recorded between 2009 and 2019. In 10 years in Jamaica, based on Statistical Institute information, 60,000 young women, underage women, girls, proper term, had a baby, not get pregnant. It not include abortion and all of that. They said gave birth. 60,000 young girls gave birth. So, Mr. President, I would like to recommend at this time, knowing that we intend for a 7-year secondary school experience, that it is sensible to review the age of consent from 16 to 18. Because if we want them to be in school, then sex creates a risk of 49% already being there. Make a look what UNICEF said. The reasons for age of consent, because a man might have said, so they're a big picnic. The age of consent is a tool used in the society to achieve some outcomes. The UNICEF reasons for age of consent, the objective of a minimum age of sexual consent is to protect adolescents from sexual abuse, from the consequences of early sexual activity on their rights and on their development. One of the greatest consequences of early sexual activity is that they will become pregnant and lose their future. It further says that young adolescents may be lured into sexual activity by older adults based on our Jamaican circumstances here now, in exchange for goods. And that goods could be check out the G and say food. You know much of these nasty men out there about KFC and fast food to lure our little young girls suffering from the economic circumstances and poverty that they're in. The UNICEF says to protect them, making those from disadvantaged settings and poor background particularly at risk. This 42% is not equally distributed among the 5 quintiles of income. The highest income quintiles don't have 42%. The lowest quintiles who go into something and get $500. I have experienced. I took 400 kids from East Rural St. Andrew, Senator Bunting, and I took them up to UWI for 3 weeks to give them that experience. And one day I sat with the girls. They told me that, but sir, me get $300 from him a daytime. $300 from the person taking advantage of them. Some of them mothers were encouraging participation because it was a tool. They were basically sex workers for their family. We have to do something. It's a state of emergency. State of emergency. Underage sexual activity based on the recommendations of UNICEF presents a number of risks in relation to sexual and reproductive health, including unwanted or early pregnancy and exposure to sexually transmitted diseases. Early pregnancy and motherhood is in turn a primary determinant of school attendance. If we want to extend the secondary experience to 7 years, we must consider the age of consent to be moved from 16 to 18. So I make some recommendations here, Mr. President. We should also establish, where's Senator Samuda? He talk about minimum sentence. Statutory rape, is that the one that is underage? Yeah. A minimum sentence of 10 years. Minimum. You say 15? Senator Bunting said 25. I have no objection. But I'm saying 10. Because if gonna 15, then a man like said there's no justice. But you're robbing our future. You're killing our future. So, all right, my team said 15. Yes. Established a permanent pedophile registry. Yes. Them can't move from community to community. You need to equip Sissoko with enough investigators to investigate all underage pregnancies and armed with the right to draw DNA from their suspects, yes, which is currently allowed, but not being done. Because if you have 60,000 in the last 10 years, at least 50,000 should be in jail. That's how you bring down some of these criminals, some of these SOE. Because negative people are negative people. Do you think a man willing to kill is going to have a moral compass to not participate in statutory rape? In underage, you don't need no witness. Evidence, DNA is there. So as to not criminalize adolescents, the law should consider a 3-year exemption. We're not trying to criminalize a 19-year-old with a 17-year-old. But the 35 and 28 and 40-year-olds taking advantage of... There were some at 11 and 12. Listen, man. That is where the child diversion program comes in. Our youth diversion program. Which, remember when they came with the child diversion stopping at 18? We begged to say put it as a youth diversion and stop it at 30. But this lack of foresight. We also propose that sexual education and family planning should be entrenched in our secondary. So that they understand. You don't hear these voice notes with our little girls accepting that their sexual ability is their only ability. Voice notes in this country with 15-year-olds saying she know how to keep a man with her sexual performance. She don't even understand the negatives. And it's getting even more promiscuous now. We want that to be entrenched. And with immediate effect, we should increase the budget to the National Family Planning Board. I could talk about it, Mr. President. They don't recognize it's a code red. In the 2020-2021 budget, you know, Mr. President, what was the budget for a program to reduce sexual, reduce teenage pregnancy? What? $9 million.
What?
In a place where we get 60,000 people in 10 years, 6,000 a year, the Ministry of Finance put it in the newspaper that they have a program to reduce teenage pregnancy. $9 million. Jamaican dollars. $9 million Jamaican dollars. Big things are going. That is 2020, 2021. You think that bad? In 2022, it was reduced to $7.8 million. It was reduced to $7.8 million when the statistics is showing that this is a crisis. This is indeed code red. I want to go again, Mr. President, to a situation that we have. I look further again, where the World Bank starts to say, okay, let us look at equating learning measurements. So they apply some science and maths to say, what is the level of learning in different countries if we were to equate the experience? It's called harmonized learning outcomes. In the Caribbean, Jamaica was third to last. The only two countries worse was Haiti and Guyana. And based on what I'm seeing in Guyana now, we will be struggling round the back with Haiti. Haiti that we are now saying we are going to help with soldiers and this and that. What are we doing around there, Sir Senator Samud? This country, Jamaica, that is used to winning everything. When we go up on the internet, we curse every other Caribbean, now we great and them what is. What are we doing about this situation? That we are almost dead last in the Caribbean. I could go again. Senator. The World Bank says, UNICEF study, a child in Jamaica can expect to complete 11.4 years of early childhood, primary and secondary education by age 18. according to the Human Capital Index, we call it HCI. However, when years of schooling are adjusted for quality learning, it's equivalent to 7.1 years. So basically, our children get lunch money and get book and uniform and go to school every day, and losing approximately a third of their effort based on the quality. This is not me. It says there's a learning gap of almost 4.3 years. Because he was to get 11.4 based on his attendance. Him get 7.1 based on its quality. I heard the presentation this morning, Senator Samuel. Tell them to send it to mobile education, quick and fast. We need some zeal, some energy. I'm not set you up, but me I set you up. You understand what I say? We need something more than what we are getting over there. It says, low learning outcomes impede human capital accumulation. This is the part I wish Senator Webby was here. And according to the Human Capital Index, listen this now. Yeah, man, but I want Elisa, I can email it. No, for sure, may I send it. But not now, me start already. But may I send it. It says, I send you the report because I know you like to read. A child born in Jamaica today will be 53% as productive when they grow up as they could have been had they enjoyed complete education and full health. Quote unquote, not my opinion. You're half of your best self. A child growing up in Jamaica is 53% as productive as if they grew up, the study says, with complete education and full health. So when the economy is stating that the workforce is unproductive, it's not a lack of interest, it's not a lack of desire, it's not a lack of ambition. How can you be productive in catching goats if you have never been taught how to catch a goat? It means that 10 men will do what 1 man could do if he was educated and informed. How could you, in this circumstance and these situations?
It's a grim situation.
This is a state of emergency,
Code red.
and code red should be declared. Mr. President, let us look at what the education vision statement said in the Vision 2030 plan, because the minister said we're moving in the right direction. The 2030 plan was supposed to have within it an understanding that by 2030 we were supposed to achieve certain things. I'll give you a synopsis. It says, and I quote, well-resourced, we don't disqualify. The first word, this is a ducks, 1 bar. In 2009 we wrote that by 2030 we should have a well-resourced, internationally recognized, value-based system that develops critical thinking, lifelong learners who are productive and successful and effectively contribute to an improved quality of life at the personal, national, and global level. The report said that we're 53% productive. The statement that we don't know in here, this statement. It says the vision focuses on facilitating equality, I'll come to that soon, of opportunities, social cohesion and partnership. And the plan envisages that the average beneficiary for our education and training system will have completed the secondary level of education. We just show 48% never attended. They entered the first 3. I mean, not even talk about the passing. The report said they're not attending the school. We also have 97 or 93, I don't want to put the wrong number, all-age schools. So therefore, this vision failed because they could not end secondary school. We have 80 odd primary, junior high schools. They could not. It says they should have vocational skills, be proficient in English language, a foreign language, mathematics and science subject. Why do we write these things?
Yes.
When there is no effort to achieve them. Participate in sports and all arts and be aware and proud of our local culture. Hey. What is our local culture now? All I hear the young boys and girls going around, them want gathering. Them fully done. Them a chopper. There's a song go around now, guzu, 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 guzu. And there is no counter arguments. That is the duty of the parliament, that we should be examples and counter arguments to the negative arguments that are being put. We have a member of parliament that's a theme uncle, is a Wobia man. Then how can we be that the children have said them a guzu? We have a minister of justice that said he wanted to legalize Wobia. Sometimes we have to remind the country about these things. So how are we concerned that people kill people over gathering? Children kill children. I think it was William over gathering. We have a member of parliament who was violent to his significant other on video. And we have a minister who said that who am I or who are we to judge? We don't see that there is a code red that is happening within our society. No. The point about it not there. Teaching and learning systems that are international standard. These are the goals. World-class school environment. 2030, we're 2022. When will I get the world-class school environment? That's who come to that. Attainment of equal and inclusive access and retention. Continue, I don't want to keep it too long. Because I think it has been established that we're in a state of emergency. The code red is that we keep on lying to ourselves that if we compare as a percent of GDP, we are spending enough on education. Senator Campbell will like to claim that we compare with the rest of the world when one measures the percent of GDP. It is like me saying that I should get the same house as Senator Dan Webby because I spend an equal percent of my income. No, my income is nowhere near Dan Webby. I hear we have an income playoff the other day, Senator Bunting barely win.
Now that you finish watching part 2, I'm sure you found it rather interesting and you have your thoughts on it. So now you finish watching part 2, I encourage you and implore you to come back for part 3. Thank you for watching. See you soon with part 3. One love.
Thanks for watching.